I'm here with Nadav for another episode of Cold Email Breakdown. And I thought the first topic of conversation should be call to actions and what you consider to be a good call to action in a cold email. Do you have any thoughts there?
Well, usually call to action, the best call to action for me is a reply. Tell me if you're interested. Tell me if you want to hear more information. Tell me if you would like to schedule a meeting. Just getting a positive response, the minimal effort required by the prospect, that's usually the best call to action. But of course, it varies based on the target audience, if it's warm lead, cold lead, your value proposition. But that fits, I'd say, 80% of the cases.
Are you considering deliverability as a factor to optimize for when you're thinking about your call to action? Because obviously, if you get more people responding positively, that's a good thing for email counts. So is that something to think about?
Yeah, definitely. The deliverability is always in my mind, because if you're sending a very strong campaign and you have a link inside and no one replies, it may die out with time, because at the end of the day, you want to prove Google and all the email servers that there is good feedback about your emails.
Yeah, because we get a lot of people emailing Email Chaser asking questions like, hey, can I add this Calendly link, for example, into my first email as a call to action? And I usually just say to people, like, it's probably better to optimize for a response and then you send the link, just for a variety of reasons. But I think a lot of people are, even if deliverability wasn't something to consider, which it is, but even if it wasn't, I think a lot of people, just from a security perspective, they're skeptical about clicking links. So I think that's not, in my opinion, the best strategy.
Yeah, I agree. And many people could be skeptical, and they should be. And also, by the way, a lot of email filters in enterprises will just filter emails from unknown senders with links inside.
Yeah, the things like proof point and stuff, like all those enterprise security systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have a friend that he recommends not to even set tracking on your first email in sequence, not to have the open tracking, because open tracking is also, it's a small pixel with a link that reports to the server. So he got a very large cold email marketing agency, and he never puts the tracking on the first email, only on the second and others.
Yeah, I think that was a really big topic of discussion. Maybe, I can't remember exactly how long ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, when Google or Gmail started displaying that message right to the user, basically saying there's some kind of trap pixel. So I remember that being, cold email is always changing. People are always changing the topic, but that was definitely a big talking point for at least 1 or 2 months.
Yeah. So it's it's important to start the leanest way possible, and from this point you can start adding more blocks, but you want to start very lean, no HTML, no links, no photos, no tracking. And if this works well, you can do, okay, let's do A/B testing. I'll try to add tracking, or I'll try to add a link. I'll try to add a photo. Let's see what works. Maybe I'll bold this text. But on the other hand, if it works, why change it? So it's cold emails. It's all about testing, doing A/B testing, and seeing what works best.
Yeah, I know. I can immediately tell when someone's not going to have success in cold email, because I get people emailing me all day, every day, asking questions, and which is fine. I like responding, but there's a certain group of people who they fixate themselves on just some complete random, non-important issue, and they'll spend weeks just thinking about how to optimize this random little thing which doesn't even matter, instead of testing 30 different campaigns. They could have launched 30 different campaigns, 30 different angles, 30 different things, and actually found out what works. But instead they spent potentially months just, I don't even know what they're doing.
That's a classic business owner, or even SaaS. No, any business owner got this thing, and not only in email campaigns. There are people that will start focusing on the small design or the font of their landing page, while they need to focus on conversions or or on having an actual working product. And I've been there. I worked my first startup. I worked on a company for 1.5 years. I focused on so many small things. If it took me 1.5 years to build a product that today I can build in 2 weeks. It took me 1.5 years to understand no one wants to use my product. And that's what happens when you're not focusing on the right things. After 1.5 years, only then I tried selling. I tried marketing, and only then I figured out, okay, no one wants this shit. And that's something I could have figured out before even starting to build it.
Yeah. I mean, usually our ideas about what a good product is completely detached from reality. So you need that feedback. Not to say that vision is not important. I think vision does matter. I do think it's possible to have a clear vision for your product, but in the end of the day, you have to speak to people. You just have to.
Yeah. I agree. A visionary is a visionary. And if you have a vision for a product, you also have a vision for 5 other products. Once you have the vision, if from my experience, the only way to know for sure a product will work is if you're extremely experienced in this field. If you know, my first product, I knew nothing about this industry. I just had I assumed. But my recent product, for example, VoiceDrop, I knew the product of the industry very well. So I had a vision, but it was backed up by a lot of knowledge. So when you have a lot of knowledge backing up your vision, then you can succeed on your first try.
How did you get into VoiceDrop? You said you had a lot of knowledge about that particular industry. What was the sort of, if you can say sum up in 1 minute, what was the backstory behind that and how you even got there in the first place?
So I had a real estate company. I was managing it all the way from Colombia. We were doing wholesale deal in Florida, and we were doing pretty well, around an average of two deals a month. And I was in charge of the marketing mainly. So I was sending SMS messages, managing the cold calling agents that we had, and doing ringless voicemails. Ringless voicemail is, in short, it's the ability to send someone a message to their voicemail without calling. So just like an SMS. So I knew the industry very well. I knew how it's being used. And then when I closed this company after half a year and I started building AI SaaS products, I came into this idea to build an AI ringless voicemail, like a ringless voicemail company, but with AI. And I knew the industry very well. I knew the clients very well. I used it myself to make money. So I knew how much people are willing to pay for that. For me, one real estate deal was worth $25,000. So I knew how many SMS messages are equal to one lead, how many leads are equal to one deal. So it was very easy math how much I'm willing to spend on marketing in order to bring a deal. So
how much would you typically spend to acquire one of those deals? Or do you even remember what
it was around $5,000 per deal on marketing, employees, closing costs, mobile notary, everything included, without the commissions to the salespeople. It was, and not all deals were $25K. Yeah, so it was the average. Some were 40 to 50, some were 5 to 10, but the average was 25.
All right. Whilst we're talking about sort of cost of marketing or customer acquisition or whatever you want to call it, it's always funny when you hear people complaining that some data is too expensive. They'll say, "Oh, I can't spend $50 on acquiring X number of emails." Say, well, how much is a customer fee? Well, I don't understand. I mean, I've heard people complaining that $50 to extract literally thousands of emails is too expensive. It's like, well, are you even planning on getting any responses from those emails? Because if you're getting even 1 or 2 positive responses, I mean, surely that covers the $50. So
some people are just selling the wrong product, and that's a question worth asking. Maybe what kind of product are you selling? Maybe you have the wrong quote. When I was running my cold email marketing agency, one of our first clients, we were charging back then $1,500 a month, which was relatively, let's say, it's half of what we are charging today for the full service. And we had a client that for him, a closed deal was worth around $750. So for him to, and it was one-time sale. So for him to pay back what he was spending on us, he needed to close around 3 deals a month at least, like 2 to close and 3 to be profitable. So he was always very nervous, always pinning us, always like complaining, always asking for discounts, until we just told him, hey, we don't want to work with you anymore. And we understood, we don't need clients that don't have the right product or the right quote, because, and for us, the best products are, the best clients are clients that got a recurring payment model. So we know today, if our client's ticket is even $1,000, but it's $1,000 a month, once he closes three clients through us, that basically pays for our fee, and we don't need to, and he won't be nervous about that. And anything in addition will be pure profit. So yeah, that's an important question. Are you selling the right product if $50 is too expensive for you?
Yeah, exactly. And if you're not selling the right product, then you shouldn't be emotionally attached to it. Maybe just change your entire business. Sometimes that's the answer. Just selling something that no one wants and you're making no money. Probably need to change what you're doing. Speaking of campaigns for your clients, do you have any cool stories that you can share in terms of like really high performing campaigns that you've launched previously?
Yeah, we actually have a very high performing campaign that we launched recently, and we launched it for a non-US audience. Most of our clients are targeting the US or at least English speakers. But something that we found out a pretty long time ago, and it keeps proving itself over and over, if you launch a campaign in German, Romanian, French, Hebrew, so these campaigns, usually these people, they don't get a lot of cold emails in their native language. So your chance to succeed is much higher, two times to even 20 times higher. And we launched recently a campaign in Israel to a client, and the results are crazy. We're getting 5 to 7 meetings every week through our campaign, and we're sending around 2,500 emails a day.
That's pretty good. The competition is definitely lower in certain places. So yeah, that's also similar in SEO. A lot of people say the same kind of thing. When you're doing SEO, if you do it in other languages, it's just 10 times easier to rank in Google. And so I think for a lot of industries that applies. I think a lot of people just, for whatever reason, they like to limit themselves into a specific geographical location. But there isn't really, depending where you're selling, but for a lot of people, there's no real reason to limit yourself.
Yeah, I have a friend that's actually doing e-commerce, and he was always selling worldwide, but all of his ads were in English. And recently started selling in Israel, for example, because he's also Israeli. He became so big that right now his main competitors are the large pharma companies. Like he's one of the largest in his industry, maybe the top 5. And it took him 1 year to reach there just by focusing on a very specific market. I have another friend that's doing the same thing in France, very similar strategy. So yeah, that's...
With that, can you just remind me, what was his customer acquisition channel? Was it paid ads or cold email or?
Paid ads. He's doing mainly Facebook marketing and I think some Google PPC.
Does he do you know the details of his ads? Is he doing video ads, or how does the ad work? What's the method?
It's video ads. It's mainly video ads, influencers, UGC content, retargeting, and then now he's also started implementing recurring payments, because he's selling cosmetics, so you can pay him every month and get another additional product for a discounted price. So that's what he's doing, and that's I have another friend doing similar with Beck product. It doesn't really matter which industry you're in if you know how to market it well. Yeah,
I think cold email is great for a lot of businesses, but there's some businesses where paid traffic is just superior, just from a scale perspective. Not for every business, but they do exist.
Yeah, Yeah, especially in the B2C market. E-commerce is mainly B2C, so there you cannot really do cold emails. But also in the B2B industry, you definitely paid ads is very scalable and very very quick. If with cold emails you need 1, 2, 3 months to do testings until you have very consistent results and good results, with paid ads you can have results within 24 hours. Me and a few other guys are now starting to open a business to acquire e-commerce companies, and to start it out, we just published a few Facebook ads, and actually we got 10 leads in our first 2 days. 10 people that wants to sell their e-commerce brands.
Yeah.
No, we're launching. Yeah, we're launching also a cold email campaign, but it will just take longer to get results.
Yeah, I think that the e-commerce sector is definitely saturated when it comes to cold emails. So if you can get those ads, you're probably going to stand out. On a different topic, do you have any thoughts on Clay and sort of AI tools in general when it comes to cold email?
I'm more. It's very hard for me to pay for overpriced, like things that feel to me overpriced. Like Clay, for example, I don't remember. They're charging, I don't know, $100 a month for 1,000 leads or something, like something unreasonable for my standards. So I usually like to do things myself. I've never used Clay. I know what they're doing generally, but you can do it yourself if you have some tech skills. You can add ChatGPT add-on to your Google Sheets, for example, and then add a prompt next to every lead, research his website, do XYZ, and get the results, and the API cost will be a fraction. That's basically what they're doing. All these companies like what's their name, Jarvis, Jasper. I don't want to get sued by Disney. So what did they do? They just took ChatGPT or GPT-3 before ChatGPT even existed and wrapped it in nice interface and put some prompts in between your input and the output to the AI, and that's the whole product. That's everything they're doing. Clay are doing the same thing. They put some prompt between the nice interface and the data.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but the best campaigns I've ever launched are their success has nothing to do with some random tricks, basically. And the success of those campaigns is almost entirely related to something that has nothing to do with AI or any kind of gimmicky. I'm not trying to call the entire Clay product gimmicky, but I think a lot of people use it in a way which is gimmicky. So I don't know. In my opinion, I'm not saying that Clay is useless. Obviously, it's not useless, but I think people will be better off if they focus on the fundamentals.
Yeah, I agree. Focus on generating results. As you said, the small tricks and adding small information about the person's company, that's a great addition, but that will not give you the product market fit. You need to make sure you have market fit. You have the right audience and the right offer to this audience, and then you can increase these conversions by adding small tweaks. But that won't give you the results.
Yeah, that's not going to be the reason why you get a 5% response rate or higher. Yes, that's just you get a 5% response rate or higher. That's because you have something more fundamental.
Yeah, exactly.
So, do you have any ideas about how to find leads for a campaign? That's a pretty open-ended question because it really depends. But is there anything you can share that you think people find interesting?
Well, I've been using Apollo since pretty much forever. I don't know, since 2020. Really, when they were really in their early stages, I was using Apollo, and I still do. The best data is in LinkedIn. That's why you have LinkedIn Sales Navigator. But it's hard to scrape it. So you have companies like Apollo that are scraping it. Now, it's easier to scrape Apollo than to scrape LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And Apollo is they are also giving you the email, and they organize it much better. So really, you can build a whole business over a Pulse database.
That makes sense. I mean, so I'm gonna do a quick shout out to our own feature, which we just released, which is our Lead Finder extension, which does allow you to scrape Sales Navigator. Obviously, as you say, if you're trying to do super high volume, then scraping Apollo is definitely easier. But if you're doing lower volume, maybe you just want to send a couple thousand emails per day. Definitely scraping Sales Navigators is possible in that kind of volume range.
Yeah, they have the best data. They are the origin.
Yeah.
How does this feature work?
So it's so we have a Chrome extension. So it's similar to a lot of other. We're not the first people to do this. It's a Chrome extension you install, and you search for your leads in Sales Navigator as usual, and then you just, because you have our extension installed, there's a button that appears that says Export with Email Chaser, and then you click the button. It basically just extracts all of the leads that are your results, and it automatically finds their emails as well, and then also verifies that as well, and then gives you a CSV file. And so I mean, it's, again, we're not the first to do it, but it's a nice feature to have just in case. If you're already in a cold email sending platform like Email Chaser, having a feature like that, which also allows you to get leads relatively easily if you need them, it's nice to have it.
Yeah, definitely. I will use it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think something that people miss sometimes, I don't know, if you're watching videos about cold email, for example, and there's two people like us talking, I think sometimes people, they don't really get the context of the conversation, because you might have someone who's running a cold email agency and they're doing campaigns for 40 clients. Okay, that's very different to one random person doing campaigns just for their own personal business. So I think it really just depends on what your situation is. So I'm not saying either way is better. It really just depends on the situation.
Yeah, it varies based on how technical you are, how much time you have to invest on it, your skills. In some cases, taking an agency that got 40 clients will be good because they have all the SOPs. But on the other hand, sometimes you'll be one out of their whole client pool, and your campaign will never get the same treatment as if you're the only one that's managing your own campaign. It just, again, not everyone are able to manage their own campaign. Not everyone got the skills, and in this case, definitely take an agency or a consultant.
Yeah. As one last thing I'll say about our extension, I actually used our Lead Finder extension to hire our CTO recently. Basically, I went to Sales Navigator. I looked for VPs of engineering at companies in the US and Canada between a certain size, and gave me a list of around 2,000 people that fit that criteria. And these are all highly qualified people who are already VPs of engineering. So it's not like you posted a LinkedIn job ad, you get a bunch of random people applying, most of which are not good at all. These are already people who are in positions at legitimate companies. So using our extension, I then just exported all of them with their emails and verified them in the whole same process, upload them to a campaign, launched the campaign, and got probably about 40 responses from that single campaign. I wasn't even contacting that many people, maybe about 1,500 people once the extraction process was done. And basically conducted about 40 conversations, which then led to eventually hiring the person. But I think that's an example of where using an extension to extract Sales Navigator is helpful, because you just know that the data is very accurate, and you're just going to have a slightly higher response rate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like buying meat at the butcher directly, and not for a supermarket.
Yeah, right. All right, so we've been talking for a while, so let's just say we talk about two more things real quick before we wrap up this conversation. First thing, second to last, will be beginner cold email mistakes. Do you have any opinions on what the most common beginner mistake is?
Let me think. There are a few. I'd say one will be to rush it. You want to get results. So people, I have a lot of clients that they set up the infrastructure to, and they tell me, hey, I really need to get proof of concept. Can I start emailing right now? No, you need to wait for it to warm up. Okay, maybe only 5 a day, 10. Well, you can, but you put your account in risk and your domains in risk to be burned. Then okay, so after I wait this time, can I start pissing 50 emails a day per account? No, you need to ramp it up. Like patience. Cold email, to succeed in cold emails, you need patience. That will be one. And two is saving on the copy. The copy part, that's the most important part at the end of the day. If you're not good at copywriting and writing cold email templates, hire someone. There are very cheap freelancers that will do it for you. Use AI tools, but that's a place to put a lot of effort. Maybe the most effort on. You want to have a few value propositions, a few templates in the sequence, and yeah, I see these 2 points. A lot of beginners making mistakes.
Yeah. The first one you mentioned is really frustrating when people say those kinds of things, because like the whole point of a successful business is that you're supposed to be around for a very long time, 10, 20, 30 years. So, when you see people who don't even want to wait 2 weeks, it's just, I think their mindset is that it's just not in the right place. And then regarding the copy, we haven't built this feature yet, but we do plan eventually to build a feature where basically we're going to display inside Email Chaser's dashboard all the top performing campaigns from all of our users, ranked in order from basically which are getting the highest response rates, positive response rates. And the whole point of that is that we're going to basically allow our users to see what do the most successful campaigns look like. And we haven't worked out the details yet. I mean, obviously, we want to do it in a way where we still sort of maintain some kind of privacy. We're not trying to give away everyone's secrets, but I think that's going to be a really useful feature. When people sign up, and a certain percentage of people don't know what good copy looks like. It's going to be really helpful just to be able to look at this leaderboard and see, okay, these 10 campaigns all got a really high response rate. Let's actually see what they say and why they're so successful. That's going to be a cool feature.
Yeah, that sounds cool. So, a bit like the algo trading platforms where you can do copy trading from the most successful traders.
Everyone's no longer working. But well, I mean, we'll see how that feature goes. Hopefully, we release that probably in the next sort of 4 to 6 months. It's not our highest priority, but we're going to get to it eventually. And then final topic I want to mention is sort of just the topic of cold email sending tools. I mean, in my opinion, I don't actually think that the cold email sending tool that you use is that important in terms of your success. I think someone who really knows what they're doing is going to have success at any platform. Do you have any thoughts there?
Yeah, for sure. The platform is about features and comfort. At the end of the day, it's like cars. The platform is the car, but what matters is the driver. Put a bad driver in a luxury car, you will crush it. Put a very good driver in a Fiat Punto, and he will still be able to carve and do drifts. So yeah, our first campaigns, it was before there were any sending platforms. We are using Python code to type the letters one by one in an AWS virtual machine, like the most barbaric way to do that. And we also tried using a bit of GMS, but GMS is not good with all of email inboxes. But that's how we started, and that's how we generated results with our clients. It can still work, just not comfortable and not efficient. What matters is,
I've even heard people, they don't even use a platform. They literally hire VAs, like in the Philippines or whatever, and you have like 100 people sending manual emails. Which, I mean, that could work. I mean, I'm not saying there's a lot of ways to do it.
Yeah, in this case, you don't need to try to imitate a real human being. You put real human beings.
Exactly. I still think using a cold email sending tool is honestly efficient, especially for people who are trying to keep their operation lean and easy. But yeah, there are definitely ways to experiment.
Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, the driver, that one matters.
All right. Well, this has been a nice conversation. We just hit the 30-minute mark, or almost approaching it. So I say we wrap this up. I appreciate the time, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Same here. Thank you very much, George.